Hello, everyone out there. Hopefully you're joining in. We are on the road lending, and this is our monthly momentum series. And I want to thank you so much for joining us. We're just kind of waiting for others to join us. We will be starting at 1 o'clock on the dot. Just a few housekeeping rules, and we ask that you please keep yourselves muted unless you are speaking. Thank you so much for that. And if you want to ask questions, please type it into the chat, and we will try hard to get to those questions during the broadcast. So thank you so much for being a part of On the Road Lending Momentum Series. And this month, our topic is entrepreneurship. And we have some great guests with us today, some very skilled and knowledgeable people who will be here to help us. So you're welcome to ask questions on the Facebook Live as well. So please, please, please put those questions in the chat, and we would definitely try to get to them, okay? I thank you so much, and we're just gonna wait a few more minutes and get some others on, and then we'll introduce this prestigious panel that we have with us today, which I know you are in for a treat. We have brought to you some small business entrepreneurs who are themselves walking the walk and talking the talk. So, and they're here to help you do the very same. So just hold on just a few more minutes, and we will definitely be there. In about 5 minutes, we will kick it off and get this party started. I do hope that you will call somebody. Hey, do a live watch me, do it all. Invite your friends, invite your family, next door neighbors, somebody. Everybody knows Zoom, okay? So we're asking that you just get them in and learn something today, because this is the time, this is the hour to begin to make those dreams become a reality. So that's why we're here today, to encourage you, to give you some information that maybe you don't have, and maybe you do, and you just need a little push. Well, this is your nudge today to get out there and get it started. Just one step, all it takes is one step. And if you are already self-employed, then we want to push you toward being a business owner. Hey, you start off being self-employed, but that's you being the business. But we want to push you toward being a business owner. And that's where you have others working for you. And you can go, well, used to could, you can go on vacation. I don't really highly recommend that right about now. But, you know, at least the fact that you're helping to employ some others and getting them on the road to success as well. So that's what this is about, just to give you a nudge if you need it, or to give you some much more needed information, like what is the next step? What else do I need to do? Because you don't want to be in the same place 5 to 10 years from now. You want your business to grow, and you want to grow with your business. So that's what we're here to talk about today, to help those who are just getting started. You've got this great idea, but what do I do with this idea? I'm so glad you asked. I've got a group of people here who can help answer those questions for you. So, and they have the resources to give you. So I hope that you're listening. You got your pen and paper. You're checking the chat as we go along, because they will be putting their information in the chat box once they speak, and you'll be able to contact them one-on-one. And I do hope that you do that. So once again, welcome to the Momentum Series presented by On the Road Lending. And I am Lucretia Jelks, the Regional Director for On the Road Lending in South Texas. And just in case you don't know who or what On the Road Lending is, we are a nonprofit organization, and we are here to help clients to get into affordable and reliable transportation. And the way that we do that is that we do not base our loans on your credit score, but rather on your budget. How much car can you really afford? And we base that loan amount on your budget. So we do check credit because we're a lender, so we have to do that. But it doesn't matter to us if your score is 200 or 800. It has no bearing. I guarantee you, as being one of the underwriters, it has no bearing on our loan decision. Basically, we want to make sure that you can afford a car note, insurance, and gas. So what we do is we try to make sure that your car note is between 250 and 350, and that the loan term is 5 years, and everybody gets the same interest rate of 9.75. And you may say, wow, yeah, that's wow, because the clients that we work with, if they were to go to a traditional lender, they would end up paying anywhere from 18 to 27%, because the average score that we work with is around 513, 513, 513. You do the math. What would be the interest rate of someone going to a dealership paying that kind of money? So just want to make sure that we want to get that information out to you. And this is a way that we have decided to take COVID by the horns and say, nah, you're not gonna hold us down. And we're bringing in other people to share in this. So we're gonna get the word out to let you know we're still here. We're doing car loans and we do it virtually. So you don't have to worry about trying to meet me at the office. I'm not there. You can contact us through what is it, on our website. I'm sorry, my brain went cuckoo for a minute. On our website, you can actually go to ontheroadlending.org, and everything you need is right there, okay? So please contact us and let us know that if you need a vehicle or you know someone else that does, we are here to help and get you back on the road. Or if your car is, you having to pay more to keep it on the road, don't do that. We can help you with a vehicle, okay? So just contact us and we are here for you, and our email will be in the chat. So I think it is 1 o'clock on the dot, so we are ready to get this party started. Thank you, thank you, thank you for those of you who just joined us. This is On the Road Lending's Momentum Series, and entrepreneurship is our topic today. And I would just like to take the time to thank all of our panelists who are here to help me today to get this information to you. And it is with great pleasure that I introduce our panelists. We have Thelma Johnson, who is the president and CEO of Albany Community Together in Albany, Georgia. She's here with us today. We have Daniel Liu, who's the Small Business Assistant Program Officer with the Alliance here in Houston, Texas. We have B.R. Small. She's the founder and CEO of the Veterans Women's Enterprise Center in Dallas, Texas. And then none other than Mr. Warren Winston, who is the co-founder and managing partner of Winston Worldwide, right here in Houston, Texas. Winston is also a certified coach for John Maxwell. And he's also of the Goldman Sachs Small Business Program. He was with the Houston Community College Small Business Program for the Goldman Sachs program for 10,000 and more. And he can talk a little bit more about that because I'm sure I just scribbled it all up. So, but thank you. Welcome, everybody. I am so glad to have you here with me. Look at your beautiful smiles. I know that you have a lot to share with our watchers today, and I want to make sure that I give you that time. So these are some resources for you, everybody. And as they introduce themselves, they're going to tell you more about what they do. So I have a few questions that I want to ask our panelists today. And don't forget to put your questions in the chat if you have some questions, okay? That's Zoom and Facebook. Just put the questions in the chat. So my first question is for all of you. What is your agency's current mission and what geographic areas do you serve? I think we're going to start with Ms. Thelma Johnson in Albany, Georgia. Can you answer that for me? I can't hear you. Don't forget to unmute.
I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you. I am Thelma Johnson with Albany Community Together in beautiful Albany, Georgia. And our mission is building wealth through affordable access to affordable capital and business development services for aspiring entrepreneurs and small business owners. We provide coaching, connections, and capital to those people that want to start or grow their small business enterprise.
We're going to get this together, guys. Okay, Daniel, what is, don't forget to unmute yourself. I'm asking you the same question, your agency's mission and what geographical area do you serve?
Thank you, Lucretia. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and thank you for the Alliance to have an opportunity to be a partner with On the Road Lending. The Alliance is the giving people of Great Houston an opportunity to serve the refugee, the immigrant, the underserved people, residents, so they can get better self-sufficient themselves and have a better quality of life. That is our primary mission.
Okay, your primary mission. Thank you so much. And VR, could you tell us what is your agency's mission and your geographical area that you serve?
Absolutely. Thank you again for having me here on the road lending momentum. I am VR Small. I am the founder and CEO for the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center. It is a national initiative that's launched here in Southern Dallas, where we have our model facility. Our mission is to help women veteran-owned businesses scale for success. We do that by establishing strategic alliances, leveraging public and private opportunities, advocating for relevant research, funding, and services, and simultaneously providing on-site the personal and professional resources that they need to succeed. We service a national audience through mentoring and virtual programming. And of course, our facility is in Southern Dallas, where they may enjoy co-working, our conference center, or our cafe lounge.
Awesome, thank you. And Warren, you want to add in on that?
Good afternoon, or wherever you are. It's a pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for the opportunity. Warren Winston, Winston Worldwide LLC. So it kind of tells you, geographically, I'm actually dealing with a worldwide basis. My company actually provides, we're the preeminent provider of business and economic leadership strategies and solutions. And we have a radical approach in terms of how we're doing business. I'm in Houston, but I actually do business not only in the United States, but a lot of business in Africa, in Asia, as well as South America.
Okay, thank you so much. So just so you guys know, you've got a handful of resources here, so I want you to take note, okay? So my next question is, what entrepreneurship programs do you offer? And who exactly is your program designed for? Daniel, could you lead us in that?
Yeah, definitely. Just like to introduce a little bit background about the Alliance. We have a 100 staff member, and we have around like 30 language network within our organization that serve under us with 17 program. And one of the program I'm working is on for small business assistant. We do financial technical assistance for people to develop their business plan. And we're working very closely with the SBA because we are the SBA intermediary microloan lender. So we really want to help the entrepreneur people in Houston to try to survive this pandemic.
I gotta keep up with this mic. Okay, so who is your program designed for specifically? Can anybody join your program?
Oh, definitely, yes. Most of regarding the area in Greater Houston, and everybody can participate in our program, and especially people would have a mind regarding startup, or people have an idea, a concept. They would like to see whether it can be developed and build up their own business.
Awesome, awesome. VR, who is your program designed for, and what do you have to offer?
So our program is designed for women veteran entrepreneurs. We do a 70-30, meaning 7 out of 10 people that we serve should be women veteran entrepreneurs or military spouses. However, we believe that when we have a facility in a community, we need to be a resource. So our programming is open to other women, as well as male veterans and men in general. Our programming right now that we think is most important is our COVID-19 summer program. We have a summer master series called the Next Level Business Transformation. Again, that is specifically for female veteran entrepreneurs and military spouses. That program offers 25 hours of critical technical assistance, along with a $5,000 grant that will be provided to them via a secured business credit card. They must participate in all 25 hours of their technical assistance. It is application based, and the application is available on our website. Our website is veteranwomen.sec.org, and the application is open until this Thursday, August 13th, 11:59 p.m. We're also offering our Design by Life, which is a power pack 4-session health and wellness personal development series. The program normally costs $400 per person, but through our COVID-19 funding, we're offering scholarships to women for $50. That program is limited in space, it's first come, first serve, up to 15 women. However, if we receive a really great response, we will go back to our funder and see if we can provide additional grants, so that don't let that stop you from completing an application. Also coming up on August 19th is our first pitch prep boot camp. And so everyone can participate in our pitch prep boot camp. Gotta say that twice. That will be on August 19th. It is a 2.5-hour power pack session led by Cedar Guff from PenFed. And we have our Monday morning message, which is every Monday morning. We do our COVID-19 weekly update. Our guests vary. And this month we are doing our Trending Thursday tips. Our focus is on a 3-part training series called The Business of Service, focused on building your customers for a lifelong experience.
Oh, VR, I'm sorry. Whew. You said that normally the program is $400, but you guys were discounting it. What was that discount amount again? It kind of got, was it?
I'm sorry, I said normally the program is $200 per person.
Okay.
We have a COVID-19 summer scholarship, $50 per
50.
person. Right now, the section maxes out at 15. But if we have a real good response, we will go back to our funder and see if we can offer another session. But right now, that session will max out at 12 to 15 people. It's first come, first serve. There is an application, but you will not be, you can't be excluded from the process. It's just for our funders, so we know who's participating in the program. However, the application for our next level business transformation will be reviewed to make sure that you're a good candidate for the program.
Awesome, awesome. So if you're in the Dallas area, take note, take note. All right, Ms. Thelma, can you share with us what your program has to offer and who it is designed for?
Thank you. Thank you. We are a community development financial institution in Albany, and we're serving Southwest Georgia. We serve 38 counties in the southwestern part of the state. We provide the 3 prongs that most small business needs when they start a business. We provide access to capital, access to coaching, business development services, and access to networks and connections. And we do small business lending, and we provide access to them going to the bank. We will actually identify a bank for you. We work with banks to make you whole. We do gap financing. We do some direct loans. We are there to make that business reach that goal of becoming a self-sustaining business, a viable business, and creating wealth for generations to come. And we service any small business with a need. You must not be able to receive funding from the bank. If you're able to receive funding from the bank, it cannot be 100%. Say if you go to the bank and the bank say you have a collateral shortage or the credit score doesn't meet their requirements, then we can come in and do a portion of that loan. If it's a direct denial, then we can do 100% of the financing.
Awesome, awesome. That is great. Ooh, and that's in Albany, Georgia, you guys.
In Albany, Georgia.
Yes.
Our focus is on women, African Americans, and low to moderate income individuals.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. Warren, you want to jump in?
Sure. Although I'm a for-profit entity, I have worked with many of the institutions. In fact, I actually serve as a subject matter expert for a CDFI here in the Houston area. So I help primarily businesses that have already been growing as from the past history, but I also have been working with those that are trying to get into the marketplace, particularly with the COVID situation, those that are looking to get the resources available to them. I also help provide access to capital, access to contacts, access to the marketplace, strategic consulting. So I don't want to even say what specific group I work with, because right now in these times, everybody is looking for some help. And that's what it's all about. That's why we're all here. We're here to be a resource for anybody and everybody that is here, trying to get the information right now. So all in all, because if they're looking for capital, let's sit down and talk. I have a feeling that I'm going to wind up talking to Daniel in a little bit as well, because he's in Houston as well as I am, and we're about making sure that we can help people to get what they need in order for them to succeed.
Yes, and I just want to say that Warren has run some small business workshops for me in the past life, I want to say, to help new beginners. So he understands the mindset of starting a new business. So actually, you and Daniel would do well together. So I'll just say that and keep moving. All right. Okay. So I want to know, have you had to make any changes to the types of programs that you offer, or the way that you're offering those programs because of COVID? Because COVID is just it just came like an earthquake and upset everybody's cart, okay? But we still have to do business, and people still need to have business done. And so we want to make sure that we're pivoting our services to reach those people. And so how did you do that? Did anything different need to happen? How did you pivot to be able to reach the clients that you serve? Let's see, where we go? VR, you want to start off with that one?
Sure. I like to call it the good, the bad, and the totally unexpected. So for COVID-19, the bad for us was that we literally had to close our facility, and our facility is a part of how we drive connections and networking and opportunities for women. The good was it gave us time to do some of the things that we needed to get done. We had some issues with connectivity. Spectrum had told us it was going to take them 45 to 90 days to lay our cable. That meant we wouldn't really be servicing people until midsummer. And here comes COVID. And during COVID, because we were able to shut our facility and not hurt our clients because people were asked to shelter in place, Spectrum actually ran that cable in record time. Our connectivity provider, Cornerstone BTI, came in. Our whole facility is what I like to tell my intern students. We are now all the way live. Our facility is completely rewired with connectivity. And of course, we know that's critical to business owners in order to do business. And the totally unexpected is that we lost several $1,000s in March when COVID came along from our funders who decided they were going to redirect their funding to more critical issues as they saw them for food and things of that sort. But COVID-19 with the CARES Act brought a lot of attention to the need for businesses and the impact that businesses were experiencing. And so under that pretense, we actually nearly doubled the funding that we raised for all of 2019, doing just the second quarter. So totally unexpected how this has turned for us. We moved all of our programming virtual. We've always been a national initiative, but we basically have served a regional area. Now we are serving across the nation. Women have connected with us for mentoring. They're joining us for our virtual events. And of course, we're going to continue in that pathway. And we're basically telling our business owners they need to do the same thing. Take this opportunity to look for all of the opportunities to expand your business, to revamp your business, pivot, as they say, to reposition your business. Last quarter, we served nearly 500 women veteran, or we engaged, not served, but engaged through events and training nearly 500 women veteran. That's a little bit over what we normally engage for the whole year.
Wow.
So it's been an interesting experience.
Very much so. And you know, you have seen, I've just seen how they've rallied behind the small businesses. We belong to some chambers here in Houston, and it has just been overwhelming, the response to the small business world. And I'm really excited about that. So I am so happy to hear that, you know, you had that in March, and I'm sure that was devastating. Us being a nonprofit, I understand exactly where you're coming from. funders' monies are going towards other things. And, you know, you can't get mad at that. People need to eat and rent needs to be paid. So we understand that. But I am so glad to see how there are entities that are rallying behind the small businesses to keep those alive. So I'm really excited about that. Daniel, what changes have you all had to make in regards to your program and COVID-19?
Yes, thank you, Lucretia. Very much similar like VR. We have to double our effort. We are helping like 4,000 members since the COVID happened. We definitely double, triple increase our effort to reach out to the community. We have direct emergency food assistance, rental assistance, utility assistance, and we put out all our effort, to help people. And thanks to the SBA, you've already heard like the PPP, the idle loan, and also right now, with the Alliance, with our microloan program, the first 6 months of your bill, the SBA will waive that fee for you if you go through with the Alliance to do the microloan program. So we try to make it more reasonable. We try to reach out to the community, and we just get everything digital, just like VIA did. And we try to, reach out instead of waiting for them to come to us.
So Daniel, in your program, do you guys also offer some coaching or classes or anything along with that loan that you're giving out? When I give it out, but
yeah, definitely. Beside the technical assistant, financial technical assistant, we have a program to do workshop, credit building, energy saving with the IDA, and also even with the on the load lending program. We even have a matching for the deposit to help our people would like to buy the car from your program.
right.
So our effort is try to reach out to the community and try to build the entrepreneurship during this hardship.
Thank you so much. And I appreciate the partnership with you guys. However we can help, we have the vehicle, you have the money. I think it's a marriage made in heaven. All right. VR, you want to talk to us about what your program is doing to pivot in this COVID-19 season? What are you guys doing?
Well, we kind of talked about
I'm sorry. I meant to say Thelma and I said
Yeah.
No problem. Well, what we learned as a result of COVID is that we had to do what our small business owners have been doing forever, to pivot. When they couldn't make payroll, we had to find ways to do things that were different. And we immediately reached out to all of our borrowers to see where they were and what assistance they needed. And 47% of our portfolio went forbearance. And that means that we had a loss in program income. But like VR has stated, we had some of our funders to reach out to us and provide us with what we like best, unrestricted funding to help with operations. And we've seen more donations than we've seen in almost the first 6 months of operations. And so it's been a godsend, and it's also been a curse at the same time. But we have created a response to COVID, a small business loan to our borrowers that are existing in our portfolio to provide them with working capital and operating assistance, especially for those businesses who were not able to access the PPP program or the economic injury disaster loan. In addition to that, we served as technical assistance providers to help them to gather documentation, to actually do the application, to walk them through the process so they can get funding. And we are looking at providing subsidies to our existing borrowers if the time needs to be continued. And we're going to create some creative programs to help with new businesses that are not our clients, to get them the needed funding they need to sustain those businesses. What we don't want to happen is to lose our legacy businesses. And I said earlier, we focus on African Americans, women, and low-income individuals. And we all know that as a small business owner, you may have 2 weeks worth of reserves saved. And we've been very cognizant of that. And we've been trying to address those needs and provide the needed services they need to sustain. and we'll continue to be here for them. And one thing that we've changed, we went virtual. All of our operations are virtual. It pushed us to move the timeline to some of the software that we needed to purchase. And we're closing loans virtually. We're doing it online. And so that was a needed software. We were in discussions with it. We just moved the dates up. It actually has helped us to improve our operations. We have become more of a streamlined organization. We're saving cost savings by being virtually. I mean, I think what we'll have to look at when the pandemic is over, whether we go back to the way business was, or do we create a new business model for ourselves, because we are seeing that we've been able to save on operations and we can pass that money on to our employees. So, I mean, I think, you know, we'll continue to see how we move forward.
That is great. And while I have you there, don't mute yourself. I actually have a question that came through that said, ask us, what is the minimum credit score for your program?
Well, we don't look at credit scores. I don't like to say there's a minimum credit score. We look at credit history, and credit history tells a story. If you can explain to us if some things that are derogatory in your credit, you have an answer, you have documentation, we can overcome that bump in the road. So there is no minimum credit score, but there's a way that you manage your credit that we can ascertain the character of the applicant, so we can move forward.
Right. Kind of sounds familiar to us. Also, one more question while we're here with you. If you are not low income, do you still qualify for assistance?
Yes. I said focus. We focus on African American, low income, and women. But if you go to a traditional financial institution and you're denied, then you qualify for our program. Awesome. We don't discriminate based on race, religion, or anything. So yes, you do qualify.
Thank you. So, Mr. Warren, what have you had to pivot in the types of, I know your answer may be just a little different, but just tell us some ways you've had to pivot during this COVID-19 in your business and maybe working with other small businesses.
The biggest pivot has been that I don't travel as much as I have in the past. At one point, I was literally doing about 150,000 airline miles a year. So you can imagine where I am now. It went from 150,000 in a year to, or I should say about 50,000 in a quarter to zero. I mean, that was a huge pivot right there, not being able to get onto a plane and to be face-to-face with clients and helping them with their business. So that was the number one pivot. Number two, like everybody said, to become more virtual and to be able to provide them with the resources and being able to hold a hand in an environment where generally you build a relationship in that face-to-face environment, and now it's a different face-to-face. So that has also changed. Creating more programs and workshops in terms of getting information out to people, such as the PPP program, and how to maneuver through all the rigmarole that you have to go through in order to try to get some capital in your hands. That has kind of changed a little bit more. So those are just some of the few things that have changed dramatically in terms of how we're doing business. Will I get on a plane again? Probably at some point, but I don't know if I'm going to do it the same way I've done it before, because quite frankly, we've all becoming more accustomed to the environment of a virtual setting like this. So it makes it a little bit easier. And you can meet a little bit more, if that makes any kind of sense, you know. So, and you can bring more people in. So that's where I think the major change is taking place from my perspective. Also, and this is probably where I think we talked about it briefly, the cost savings. Now I can now provide a cost savings to those that normally would have to pay for the airfare and the hotel and the per diem. And so now there's a huge savings because I don't have to leave my home and park at an airport or go buy extra ticket, you know, all of those other things. So that's where I think it's been helping businesses overall, that they can still get the resources and the information that they need, but they don't have to pay the price that they were paying in the past. So that's really one of the biggest pivots for me as a whole.
Yeah, I can totally identify with that because I cover all of South Texas and traveling, from Port Aransas to Port Arthur, it just puts some miles on the car and it's wear and tear, hotels and all this. So I can definitely see the difference. So zoom, zoom, zoom it is. And I think it was them when it said it's a blessing and a curse.
It sure is.
But we've learned to pivot. So I think this just shows the creativity that we have as human beings of how we're just not going to be kept down because of anything. We can make some lemonade, and so we're making some lemonade, putting a little strawberry in there. Hey, so it's all good. I have a question that came in that said, do any of you serve Mississippi? And if you do, in what capacity? So I'm not going to assume, but if you do serve Mississippi, if you could jump in. If you don't really have to say anything. But if you do, I think the closest one will probably be Miss Thelma Johnson over here. Do you have and of course, On the Road Lending, we serve Mississippi. But Thelma, do you serve Mississippi by any chance?
No, we don't. But they can go to a website to try to find a CDFI that serves that area. If they go to ofn.org and locate a CDFI in Mississippi.
Could you put that in the chat for us?
I will.
Okay. And I just want to say that On the Road Lending wills. VR, you want to say something?
Yeah, we can help them through mentoring. Again, if any of their issues are specific to their state, then we want to refer them back to a small business development center or maybe a SCORE chapter or a women business center within their area. But if they wanted some specific mentoring, particularly if they're a veteran woman or military spouse, we can help them virtually.
Yes. Okay.
And I was also going to suggest that they could probably, if there's a local small business development center that's generally in the area, they could also provide the support to not only from the CDFI standpoint, but also any of the documentation, business plan, anything that they need. That's also, that's another way of trying to find out where they can get the resources available to them.
Awesome. Okay, the next question I have, I'm kind of just gonna put this question out there and you guys can kind of jump in because you might want to piggyback off of somebody what their answer is. So I want to leave the space for that instead of just calling your name. But the next question I have is, what businesses are really blossoming right now in this environment, in this season with COVID kind of taking over the land? We don't know nothing right now. So we're all just trying to survive. Are there any new industries or services that you see growing that perhaps maybe didn't? Maybe COVID is feeding a small business that maybe before COVID wasn't doing so well. Any thoughts on that? Anybody can jump in.
Definitely, I can tell you this, and this is not only just on a local level, this is on a global level. Okay. That anything in information and communications technology, it is already going through the roof because, again, when you take a look at how we're doing business, it's interesting. We were doing it and basically scratching the surface back in January. Okay. Now it's become, the normal has been redefined. This is how we're going to be doing business, and it's not going to change anytime soon. So information and communications technology is one thing. Medical, do we need to even talk about the medical field? The medical field has already changed tremendously because of the virus. So, the sales of masks and any protective gear, gloves, those things, even outfits. There was a friend of mine literally that was getting ready to take a trip, and they went on Amazon and they bought the full-fledged booties and the jacket and the hoodie and everything to protect themselves as they go through the airport. I mean, so when you take a look at medical supplies and things of that nature, that has tremendously, even in the energy field. The energy field is changing because it's in some areas outside of the major cities, they're going through some challenges in terms of not only electricity, but just trying to balance it because people are home more. So that's got an impact on it. So it's literally starting to create more opportunities, those in the solar panel sector or those wind farms, you're going to start to see those starting to pop up. And then the last part that I'm starting to see also is in agriculture, not only from an equipment standpoint, but from an education standpoint. So when you're starting to see these things, and we'll go back to education as well. Education, needless to say, has changed dramatically, because not only in the regular school systems, but for business owners as a whole, because the education is going to be key to help them to get through these challenges, because they have to change the way they've been thinking about things. So just on those four things, those are the four things that I've been seeing over and over, literally since March, change dramatically to, and really elevate to another level, just from what I've seen.
Wow. And that's surprising that agriculture is one that you see a growth in. Woo! Anybody want to
when you think about it, people are home now, and because it's had an impact on the economy, or their home, the funds that they bring home, they started to grow more things. They started to become gardeners, and they started to grow their own, produce their own food and their own crops. So that is starting to pick up a little bit more. So in some instances, people are going out to buy equipment just so they can produce.
Yes.
So that's why it's changed, changed somewhat. It's had an impact at the same time on farmers, out in the Midwest, because they can't produce. They produce, but they don't have any way of getting it shipped. Logistics has become a problem. So
right.
You're going to see the good and the bad, but yeah, that's really the main reason why we're starting to see the change, because it's had an impact on everybody.
You're exactly right. I actually have a friend who just told me the other day she's starting a garden and she wants to grow all these different vegetables, and you can do it without having to, because she has issues. She can't get down on her knees, but she has troughs, I'm like, whoa, okay. So anybody else want to chime in on this? Any new businesses, trends that you're seeing that are taking place that perhaps are different?
Yeah, I would say to piggyback on the agriculture, being someone that is located in a heavily agriculture industry here. Mm-hmm. And I think that the spotlight is being shined more on agriculture because of COVID. Yeah. Where do we get our food supply from? And that's why you're seeing more people are going to gardening. And in addition to an increase in growing and creating home gardens, you're seeing more home improvements, because you're making the home more of a place that you're going to spend most of the time. So you're doing more outdoors, you're improving your home. Mm-hmm. And we've seen an increase in delivery services, regardless of whatever you're delivering, if it's food, whatever kind of supplies, delivery services are increasing. We've had loan requests for new startups to start delivery businesses for restaurants. We've seen an increase in curbside restaurants, and restaurants whose models were drive-throughs and drive-ups, not dine-in. And I think it's going to be the wave. And food trucks.
Yeah.
An increase in that as well. And in addition, he mentioned telemedicine. I even had my first telemedicine visit. I mean, I think we're becoming a virtual society, and you cannot have a conversation with what is booming without talking about IT, information technology. And in addition to that, we also have seen cleaning services increase, cleaning services for businesses, for homes, whatever, you name it. Those are going to be things that essential services will increase as well. And I think education is going to be different. I think a lot of businesses are going to have to pivot. The models are going to change. Even we've changed. Right. We're no longer doing face-to-face. We're doing virtual meetings. We're using Zoom, which is technology. We're using more of our cell phones as the main office computer. We're on a laptop now, so you're going to be virtual, be able to take it wherever you go. So we're jumping almost, COVID pushed us 10 years ahead. We're moving at a snail's pace. We caught up with that. So, yeah. And I think we're going to continue to see different innovation. Right. Now is a time where we can encourage innovation and creativity for small business owners. If you think there's a need for it, then you maybe need to look at doing it as a business.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I think it's always been there, but people haven't paid a lot of attention to it. You're going to see a lot more consulting and data analytics. People need to understand what all of these analytics mean, how they're engaging their customers, how their customers be engaged, how they're using their website, how they are responding to their social media, what is organic, what are they creating around content. All of these things were already out there, but now you have more and more consultants that are going to find opportunities, really teaching people how to use this data to really move their business forwards. And when you look at all the agriculture issues, as things start to progress forward, I think you're going to see a boom in manufacturing, because we had too many things that were being made and taken care of in other places. I think you're going to see America saying, hey, we want to be more resilient, and what we need one here, instead of having to reach out to another country to try to get what they have. And I think you're going to see that starting to come back, and people starting to look at it. And you're going to see some switches in real estate, because we're hearing more and more companies telling people, okay, well, you can work from home. Well, what happens to those headquarters? What happens to those facilities where all of those people used to work? And how are those facilities are going to be used moving forward? What is that going to look like? So you're going to see some changes in that. So although you may not see those things happen immediately now, because COVID is still in the midst of what it's doing and we haven't seen the transition, I think as people are thinking, what are my next moves? What am I going to do? They need to be looking at these areas and saying, hey, how are these transactions going to create opportunities? I don't know how much you guys know about the SBA's new rule on women-owned small businesses, and economically disadvantaged small businesses now have to be certified. That is going to be a huge opportunity for women. And so women who have been self-certified now need to be certified through the SBA or a third-party provider. That has to be done by October 15th, or you will not be able to do business with the federal government if you have not been certified by the SBA or third-party provider. What's good about that, though, is that there are now special opportunities set aside for women. And if a woman-owned business does not have capacity to complete that contract, she can partner with another woman-owned business. And so it's creating opportunities for women to work together, for women to help each other, for women to grow their businesses. And the federal government will have their set aside or their sole sourcing. So once you do a really great job, they may not even have to put that back out there. They can come back and say, hey, I've got a supplier. They're doing a great job. There are some other elements around it, but they can do sole sourcing. So here are some opportunities for women to diversify their revenues, not just be codependent on customers, because in this environment, when customers not working and they can't buy, who else is still buying? Who else can you still be doing business with? And so I think those are some of the opportunities that businesses and women specifically should be looking at.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And I have a question for you. The question came in for you, BR. Do you need to have an established business in order to receive business coaching, funding, etc., through your program? And if so, how long?
So we really don't focus on startups. That's the truth. But we don't turn any women away. So if you happen to arrive at our door and you are starting your business and you need mentoring, we will assist you. As far as our COVID-19 programs, those are all for existing businesses, except for the Design by Life. Design by Life is a health and wellness personal development program. You can be in business or you cannot be in business. You can be thinking about starting a business. You really only have to be a female veteran or a female military spouse to take advantage of that opportunity. We know COVID-19 has taken individuals through a lot mentally. And so some people have lost their jobs. Some people have had to already close their businesses because they didn't get funding in time. And so they're rethinking, what is my next move? And that's what this whole Design by Life workshop experience is about. What are you going to do now and beyond COVID-19?
So VR, here in Houston, I've actually spoken to some women veteran groups. Do you all do any work here in Houston, or do you have an affiliate that you work with, or perhaps I guess they could just do that design program online?
Well, now that we have COVID, everything is online, but hey, make a connection. We're always looking for opportunities to connect with other organizations so that we can reach more women, so that we can collaborate. So if you know organizations, please make a warm introduction by email. We'd love to help them or be a resource to them. or a supplement to them if they're
Right.
already providing something similar to what we're providing. Right now, we're not doing
Okay.
anything specific in Houston, anything official.
Okay.
I do have, I think, one client out of Houston that I'm mentoring,
Mhm.
but we don't have a huge presence in Houston.
Okay, we'll see what we can do about that. All right, so Thelma, are you still there? I have a question for you. She may have had to step away, but oh, there she is. There's a question that came in that says, does the coaching you offer help with completing a business plan, or do the borrowers have to write it to qualify for a loan?
It helps with completing a business plan. We will help you to, we want it to be your own so you can have it and you can articulate it to a potential lender or a funder or an investor, but we will walk you through that process.
Okay, okay. Warren, is that something you could do to help with because the business plan, I've seen yours, you have a really simple one for beginners and I mean, it helps you because, you know, when you think of business plan and you're not used to that type of form, your mind can go just, you know, it looks like it's hard, but it's really not. So would you kind of expound on what to help this person?
Yeah, there are two types of business plans. There's a traditional one, which can be multiple pages, multiple pages. And when it's a startup, sometimes that can scare the dickens out of somebody because there's so much information on it. I actually have worked with a one-page business plan, and because my attitude is get to one will get you to two will get you to four, and you start to build from there. And you notice that we've utilized the one-page business plan and got people funded based off of a one-page business plan. So,
Right.
you know, it's good to start with somewhere. You know, I always say the short pencil beats a long memory. So to have the one-page business plan is something that could be started. But, you know, there are various resources here in Houston that can help you with the business plan. Many people have heard of SCORE. SCORE will help you with a business plan. The small business development centers will help you with business plans. I mean, I'll help somebody with it also. It all depends on what they're, you know, looking for. But there are a number of resources that can help and do it basically for, you know, at no charge to help you get that going. But whether you're thinking about doing a business today or you have one, it's important that you have a business plan, because I think everybody can agree without the business plan, you could forget about getting funding anytime soon. You definitely need to have a plan. And that's what's going to be the roadmap to get you to the funding.
Okay. Daniel, do you guys have anything that you help with building a business plan?
Yeah, exactly. That's what Warren mentioned. The first step is you have to have a business plan. Without that put on the paper, they would not know where to go, what to do, you know, how to execute the plan. So we definitely, same thing like, you know, any other organization, we will help them to put it together for free at no charge. And we like to bring it down, you know, to earth, exactly what can they do, yeah, and then the facing process, how to make them successful.
Awesome. So
I like to say something else about the business too, as a lender.
Yes.
When we look at the business plan, going back to what Warren said, the one pager we will accept a summary for a business plan if the business is older than 2 years, along with the financials. And what we're looking for in that business plan is the who, what, and how, who you are, what you're selling, and how you plan to repay it. And that's basically as that, you know, to kind of help them to understand it doesn't have to be a research project. It doesn't have to be 20, 30 pages. If you're answering the who, what, and how, and it makes sense, and then you have your financials attached to it, then that is a business plan. And we can help you to make it look acceptable to a traditional financial institution. So I would encourage anyone not to get bogged down in thinking that I can't start a business because I don't have a formal business plan.
Yes. And I saw that VR put some notes in the chat. So if you want to check that out, she gave some resources to reach out to. So we want to pay attention to that. The SBA partners such as SCORE. I think SCORE is like, they've been around for ages. The women's business centers and the small business development centers, they're all there to help. I know there are some colleges like University of Houston and HCC, they have small business programs that will help, entrepreneurs. So there's always a way to do it to get the answers that you need and not necessarily have to, you have to pay an arm and a leg to get it done. I have enjoyed you guys so much. I just want to give you all an opportunity to have your last word. So what would you like to leave with our listeners today? And that's entirely up to you. Daniel, what would you like to leave with the listeners today?
Well, first of all, we'd like to remind that during this pandemic, I'd like everybody to stay healthy, take care of themselves, take care of their family. And since we cannot control the income side, as a business, you should worry about the expense side. Prioritize your credit, prioritize your expense, and preserve cash. And that's the best wish I can have for everybody if they want to start up the business during this pandemic era time.
Thank you so much. Thelma.
Well, I would leave with everyone to revisit their current business model to see where they can pivot, where changes can be made, where they can improve, streamline, to be able to recover and sustain the business to and through the pandemic. And I also would like to encourage every small business owner to get involved, to get to know your policymaker, to make sure that you're informed and you know who's making decisions and how they're making decisions that are going to affect your business in the future and your ability to sustain and to create that business, and not just create and sustain a business, but create wealth. So pay attention and know who makes policy.
Yes. Thank you. VR.
Yeah, I would really want to remind people to get and stay connected. This is not a time to be isolated, and this is not a time to go it alone. There are way too many resources out there for you. Again, the SBA is funded through our money, so make sure you utilize their partners. The second round of CARES Act funding provided additional money to both the small business development centers as well as the women business centers. So check your local center to see what additional resources or expanded resources they have available to you. And the conversation is on the table now to give additional funding to the Veteran Business Outreach Centers. So if you are connected with them, stay tuned and make sure that that information comes through. I just want to say one quick word around a business plan.
Go ahead.
I believe in that one-page business plan, the canvas, and I want you to make that exercise an enjoyable one. I think everybody dreads doing a business plan.
Yeah.
It is getting to know your business. It is an exercise in getting to know your business and understanding your business like nobody business. So when people ask you who your competitors are, what your niche is, who your clients are, these are things you want to know. So don't take on the business plan concept as this horrible thing you can't do. This is the thing you want to do, because this puts you in a position to really know and understand your business. And they are some very simple questions, as Thelma said, but you need to be able to answer them concisely, effectively, with real knowledge and confidence about what you're doing, why you're doing it, who else is doing it, and why are you the best person that we should be doing business with or supporting.
Awesome. Thank you. Warren.
First of all, I enjoyed this, and so I thank you for putting this together. I think we've all coming out as better people. It's never a situation that even though we might be considered the experts, we can learn from each other. So it's very good to have this forum, and I appreciate you doing that. Number one, I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of something that VR said very briefly. If I did not have my business plan, I would not have been able to pivot as fast as I could. I was able to pivot because I had a plan in place, and then I was able to pull it out, make some adjustments, and keep going. And during this virus, during this pandemic that's going on, there are some folks that don't have a plan. And I call it the old spaghetti theory. When I first learned how to cook spaghetti, I just threw it up against the wall. If it stuck, it worked. It was good. You can't do that anymore, okay? Babe Ruth said that you can't use yesterday's home run to win today's games.
Right.
What we've experienced in the past is the past.
Right.
The only way you're going to be able to move forward is to make sure that you have a plan, stick to the plan, adjust the plan, be okay with the failure, and then find out what, what needs to be done, and then keep going. That's what's going to keep you going. There are plenty of resources out there. Interestingly enough, while they might have had the challenges of keeping the doors open only for the purposes of safety, they're not going anywhere. They're still there to support businesses. They still have a purpose, and the purpose is to help people not only have a business, but to win. Utilize those resources. The Alliance, they're there. I'm sorry, VR, she's there. Thelma, she's there. You, Lucretia, you're there. We're all here to help support people. And the only way you're going to win is if you stay in the game. But you got to also have the plan of how to play the game.
Yes. Thank you all so much. I appreciate everybody and your input, your information, the resources that you shared with us. And hopefully those of you who are listening on Facebook or on Zoom, you were able to glean something from this to take you forward to be able to do what you need to do. I just want to hopefully, I don't know if on Facebook you guys were able to see the information to contact them, but you're also welcome to call or email Warren at askme@warrenwinston.com. Let's see, we want to stay and get connected. We want to the contact information will be on the Facebook link. I'm sorry. So you will be able to get that information. We have it here in the chat for those that are here. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, VR. Thank you, Thelma. Thank you, Warren. I appreciate you all so, so very much for your insight, your expertise, and for sharing. And our prayer for you is that your business will continue to grow and increase, and that those that you help will do the same, that their lives will be impacted, and their businesses, whether it be startup or if they've already been in it, that it will continue to grow, because this is what this is all about. And on the road lending, we know that if you're looking to start a business, but you need transportation to be able to do what you need to do, just email us or go to ontheroadlending.org, and we are able to help you. We just want to make sure that you have reliable and affordable transportation, because that's what we are about. And here in Houston, we do have the IDA with the Alliance that helps us to help you to save for a down payment. All you have to do is save $300, and they will match you up to $900 towards a down payment on a vehicle. So we have that in place. As long as you live in the Houston area, in Harris County, I don't think it's restricted by county, but I do know for Harris County for sure, you're able to take advantage of that. So thank you so much. I appreciate Albany Community Together. I appreciate the Alliance, the Veterans Women's Enterprise Center, and also Winston Worldwide. Thank you all so much for being a part of On the Road Lending's Momentum series on entrepreneurship. I appreciate you. I thank you. Stay well, stay safe, and hopefully we will be in touch again. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.